No, no, Mr. Senju, no here. Senjus? What you talking about? I hate Senjus. What you talk about, Willis? So, Naruto chapter 622. How can I sum this up for you? Well, first of all, for those fighters and heavy plot dependent people, I gotta say it's pretty boring. I mean, I found it slightly boring, but what did we learn from this? We learned that Hashirama and Madara are able to bond together through tragedy and whatnot, that they're both somewhat bipolar since they swap between being happy and sad, but most of all we learned, don't ever say your fucking last name. You know, it kind of reminded me of a scene from Family Guy. It's where the one guy is like, I like you and have no reason not to. I like you and have no reason not to. And then one of them reveals to be Christian, and they just start stabbing each other. That's essentially the same idea here. Hey, I like you. I like you too. I'm Senju. Rah! So after this little endeavour that happens between Madara and Hashirama, Hashirama returns to his home and, well, first of all, I gotta point out, man, is his father such a cunt. Like, he's really just a big cunt. And Tobirama looks kind of badass, well, more badass than normal in my opinion. As a kid, he's still got that stern, strict look to him, like he's gonna beat some ass. And then beside them is some dude who's like got half black and half white hair, although I'm assuming it's actually half brown because Hashirama's hair is brown. But yeah, I was looking at him for a while and I was just like, who is the Zetsu looking fuck? And then they got me thinking. I was like, is he really a Zetsu? Like, is he the origins of Zetsu? But no, we know that's not possible because the white is Hashirama's DNA and the black is the will of Madara. Bitch, I'm the most unracist person you'll ever meet. I'm black, white, and Asian. However, maybe it's like he is the shell. Of course, that's completely retarded because I judged that all on him looking kind of Zetsui. Because he's got that kind of derpy but cutish face to him where it's like, ooh. Which made me feel really sad. Like, I've looked at him and thought he was a derp. And then a few pages later he died. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. My bad. I'm sorry for thinking you're a derp. But anyway, Hashirama's father, which I'm not sure if he is also called Hashirama because he says, calm down, Hashirama. But I'm not sure if he was talking to himself, you know, getting himself to calm down. Or getting Hashirama, the boy, to calm down. But he's such a cunt. Like, straight up, second page of seeing him and he just like punches Hashirama in the face for caring about like his companions and shit. And I believe this is sort of relates to how real life works. When you have a parent that acts a certain way, you have two possible outcomes in most cases, and that is the child will either reciprocate the behavior or do the exact opposite. And actually, believe me guys, it actually works out like this quite often. If someone sees a really harsh life through their parents, like doing drugs and all that, and you know, a horrible life, one of two things will happen. They will either become a druggie themselves, or they will learn to like hate drugs and just not go near them and steer their life just completely away from drugs. And that's what I'm getting at. I think Hashirama is kind of, that's what's happened to him. He's steered his life in the opposite direction of his father, whereas Tobirama has kind of followed his father, not in the sense of being a cunt, but just being that strict kind of person. Because you can sense a strictness with Tobirama. He doesn't, what is the word? He's not very forgiving. It's not the word I'm looking for, but it'll do. And, you know, that was a little weird for me, but also, I didn't mind it. It was interesting. And then the sad thing happens. As I said before, Itama, the third son, dies. And I was just like, oh, why? And then it has Hashirama going back to the pool, which I thought was cool. And what do you know? Madara shows up, acts slightly cocky, kind of cool, you know, got that Sasuke-ish vibe going to him. But, you know, you can tell there's a friendship that's already started to form. And then it mentions that he had his brother die, and not Hashirama, Madara himself says, "I have 4 brothers," or well, I had them. And then that got me thinking, well, not got me thinking, I went to the forums to check out some certain things, and people were starting to think that 3, like the other 3 brothers, or all 4 of the brothers had died, like, I had 4 brothers. But I think it's more saying he had 4 brothers and one of them died and now he has 3. So he technically is right in saying, I had 4 brothers. So I'm not sure if yet another boy, like another brother, is alive aside from Izuna. We'll just have to find out in the next chapter. But in all honesty, this chapter was pretty average. I mean, it was nice, it gave some good story, and you can see the bond forming between the two, which is good because you got to remember, in terms of story, Sasuke is hearing all this, and Sasuke is able to relate this to his life, as well as see the flaw of all Uchihas, like how they fucked up and all that. But in all honesty, I do feel like the Senjus hold just as much blame as the Uchihas in this. I mean, I honestly get the feeling that they're using the word love as a kind of excuse, and they're just going on crusades because of it. And they're not really viewing anyone but themselves, and it's quite selfish. And they gotta realize they are literally the spitting mirror image of the Uchihas. Like, they're the yin to the yang sort of shit going on right now. And I also want to point out, wasn't Itama's death like borderline gang rape? I mean, you got a little boy just running through, see some rocks, yay! And then frickin' 6 dark figures come out and oh shit. And just on a final note, I do want to put out that I do believe Madara's, craziness is quite explained in this. Because in the previous episodes, or chapters, we have found out that Uchihas, when they suffer great loss, it kind of affects their mentality and stability, as well as giving them a lot more power. And then drawing on that power kind of creates, makes that bad negative feeling even worse. And Madara essentially had to go through what Sasuke went through 4 times. I mean, it's said that Madara loved Izuna more than Sasuke loved Itachi. And Madara had 3 other brothers on top of Izuna. So he essentially went through what Sasuke went through 4 times over, which makes a lot of sense, and it kind of explains how crazy he's able to be because of that. And this sparked an idea in me that maybe Susanoo is determined by what emotion causes that optic nerve pinch for each Uchiha. Let me kind of elaborate on this. Itachi's, I do believe, was love. That love he had for his brother and his family and the village and all that. Having to just bite through all that pain for love is what caused his optic nerve pinch, which Tobirama talked about. And love is kind of a red orangey colour when you think about it, and I do believe that's why his Susanoo is that orangey red colour, whereas Sasuke's is purple because his optic nerve is sort of hatred and vengeance, which gives this nasty purpley darkness sort of feel to it. And it was revealed in Naruto Ninja Storm 3 that Madara's Susanoo is actually blue, which made me think, if this is true, maybe Madara's optic nerve pinch, the reason, his kind of emotion that causes his eyes to grow so strong, is despair. Because when you think of blue, it's linked really heavily with sorrow and despair and all that. And the new Naruto game coming out has a certain edition called True Despair. And so, I was thinking maybe that was the reason behind that, and I don't know, I just wanted to see what you guys thought. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Feel free to like and subscribe if you really want, and I hope you all have a great day. Do keep in mind, if you do choose to, which you don't have to at all, I do make other videos other than Naruto manga reviews, so if you don't like them, you can just ignore them. Please don't dislike them, but yeah, that'd be pretty cool. And regardless of what you choose, even if you just like the video, I do hope you have a great day and a great week, and I hope to see you next week. Peace!